Everyone considered him a weak orphan whose E-rank skills held no value in the new world, so they abandoned him to die. He vowed to take revenge on them all. The scene opens with a disturbing image, a young boy being beaten by his father simply because he was taking too long to eat his food. The child pleads, apologizing through tears, but his father doesn't listen. Meanwhile, his mother sits nearby, completely indifferent, her eyes glued to the television as if nothing is happening. Suddenly, the scene cuts, a gasp echoes. The boy jolts awake. It was a memory, a nightmare. Wakes up and sees that his class president Ayaka is being bullied by a boy named Yamada. Yamada refuses to give back her pass and mocks her by reading aloud from a romance novel. The other students ignore the bullying. The class is on a field trip, and Memori notices that most of his classmates have their heads down to avoid getting involved, while the elites laugh. The teacher doesn't care and sleeps. Memori thinks it would be cool to intervene, but then remembers he's just a loser who can't do much. When Ayaka is clearly distressed, Memori gathers courage and asks Yamada to return her book. Yamada is surprised by his boldness but refuses and starts picking on Memori instead. Just then, an elite student named Kirihara tells Yamada to stop because he's getting bored. Everyone admires Kirihara for handling the situation. Yamada apologizes to Ayaka but still resents Memori and begins to bully another quiet student. Finally, the teacher stops him, saying he can only bully others when a teacher isn't around. Memori feels he acted out of the dream's influence. Suddenly, all the students are shocked as they are teleported to a strange place. A woman who introduces herself as Goddess Wishes tells them they are heroes from another world. She explains that whenever the great demon empire rises in her world, they summon heroes from other worlds. 200 years ago, heroes defeated the demon empire, but now the evil has returned. The students can't believe they're in another world and think it's a prank, or maybe they died in an accident. Everyone panics, but the teacher calms them and tells them to listen to the goddess. Memori looks around, sees the old surroundings and the goddess with golden eyes, and starts to believe it's real. Kirihara asks what happens if they refuse to fight. The goddess explains that they can't return to their world. The only way to perform the reverse summoning ritual is to obtain the Demon King's essence, either by acquiring his heart or defeating him and sealing his essence in a crystal. Yamada is furious about being forced to fight, but the goddess begs for help. Ayaka says they're just ordinary people, far from being heroes. The goddess assures them that they possess powers others do not. Memori feels something is wrong. Oyamada is tired of all the pranks and Memori thinks Oyamada annoying the goddess. The students get scared when a prisoner is brought in to be eaten by a demon. The goddess kills the demon with a fire spell, but the students are still in denial and think it was all CGI. The goddess changes the topic and announces that it's time to reveal everyone's hidden skills. Each student touches a crystal ball. If it glows, it means they have a special skill. When Oyamada touches it, the light becomes extremely bright, and everyone is shocked to see he has great power. Oyamada, who was earlier unsure about becoming a hero, now wonders how amazing it could actually be. Next, it's Kirihara's turn. His power is so strong that the crystal ball breaks. This means he is an S-class hero, the highest rank. Oyamada, who is an A-class hero, admits that Kirihara would be top-ranked no matter what world he's in. Then it's Aya's turn, and she too is revealed to be an S-class hero. The goddess is shocked that she now has 3 S-class heroes. Normally, even getting one is rare. She says this is the best summoning ever. Now is Memori turn. When he touches the crystal, it glows faint purple, and he doesn't understand what it means. His glow is the weakest of all. The goddess ignores him instead of announcing his rank. Memori feels once again that he is very weak and accepts it. Then a quiet student named Yasu touches the crystal, and it glows black. The goddess says this has only happened once before, and that person became a powerful A-class dark hero. Yasu proudly laughs and says he knew his time would come. The goddess then shows everyone how to check their stats. Memori's stats are very low. He has a unique skill called Status Elements. Oyamada gets bored and wants to hurry up with becoming a hero. A teacher tries to show respect to the goddess, but Oyamada silences him. saying the teacher is just a D-class hero. The goddess says only one ritual is left and calls Memori to the front. He doesn't understand why, and she tells him he's the lowest rank E-class. She says the weakest hero always holds others back, so from now on, the weakest one will be killed after every summoning. Everyone is shocked to hear this. But this time, something different happens. They decide to give the lowest ranked hero one last chance. Memori is to be sent to a deadly place called the Ruin of Disposal. If he survives and comes back, he will gain his freedom. Memori doesn't know how dangerous it is. Many criminals and heroes were sent there, and no one ever returned. Memori tries to save himself by talking about his unique skill, but the goddess says status elements is a useless skill. It rarely works, and even when it does, the effect doesn't last long. She also says his stats are too low, and even if he levels up, it won't make much difference. Memori feels it's unfair that he was only summoned to be punished. Kirihara tells him to just go and start the ritual. Others also tell him to leave quickly. Memori feels a little better when Yasu asks if he's okay. Yasu, who used to be kind to him, changes his behavior. He says he doesn't want to talk to someone with such a low rank and calls Memori a trash hero. Memori is shocked. The goddess begins the ritual. Each hero receives a special item, but Memori only gets a simple leather bag. The gem on it only glows when filled with magic. That's its only feature. Suddenly, Aya stands up to support Memori, but the goddess knocks her out instantly. The goddess says to forget about Memori because he won't survive. She tells the others they are the true winners and they must watch what happens to someone like Memori. Memori gets angry and uses a paralysis spell on the goddess, but she says she has a defense barrier that blocks status effect spells. The goddess says goodbye to Memori. Everyone is shocked when Kirihara uses an attack spell. He apologizes, saying he was just testing. The ritual continues, and everyone is happy that their future won't be ruined. The goddess asks Memori if he has any last words. He just starts crying. Suddenly, we see Memori as a small child crying. His other self tells him that no matter how hard he tries to hide his feelings and act harmless, he can't hide his true self. He tells him to show his true colors and stop holding back. Memori's real self awakens. He lets go of his weak personality and angrily curses at the goddess. Everyone is shocked. Memori says that if he survives and comes back, he will take revenge on all of them. Memori is teleported to the ruin, where it's completely dark. He pours magic into the gem to light the way and starts exploring. Suddenly, he is attacked by a monster, and he runs to save his life. Memori realizes that the monster is far stronger than him. He panics and tries to hide the glowing gem, thinking it's attracting the beast. But then it hits him. He isn't really afraid. He's hopeless. He has no weapon. His stats are terrible. His skill is considered useless. He starts to accept that maybe this is where his life ends. But suddenly, something inside Memori awakens. He remembers how the goddess and his classmates abandoned him, calling him weak and sending him to die. Anger and determination rise in him. He shouts that he needs power now. He uses a paralysis spell on the monster and manages to escape. Memori is shocked. His skill actually worked. Maybe it's a miracle? But before he can relax, a new monster appears. Terrified, Memori cries, thinking this is really the end. He tries the same spell again, and it works again. That's when he realizes, this isn't luck. This is his ability. But now his boosts are gone, and his magic power is almost empty. He fears that his skill won't work anymore. Yet, to his surprise, he manages to cast a poison spell on the monster, and it works amazingly well. He realizes, the monster's rank doesn't matter. What matters is how he uses his magic. Memori's magic is almost depleted now. He wonders, what if I try using status elements again? But suddenly, the first monster returns. For a moment, he foolishly thinks someone might come to rescue him, like in movies. But no one does. Then, the truth hits him hard. No one is coming. He remembers how badly everyone treated him. Even as a child, he was beaten and left behind. His frustration reaches a breaking point. He realizes he's not some side character. He can't rely on others anymore. If he wants to survive, he must fight alone. His spirit ignites. His will to win takes over. He casts paralysis again, but this time it fails. A message pops up. You cannot use the same spell repeatedly on the same target. He quickly searches for a new strategy and manages to cast sleep on the monster. It works. He understands now, he can't use the same effect over and over, but he can mix different ones. He stacks poison on top of sleep and finishes the monster. He's exhausted. His natural magic power is nearly gone. Then, a horde of monsters appears. Memori decides he'll fight with everything he has, even if it means risking his life. He repeatedly casts paralysis. It works. But his MP is rapidly draining. He gets dizzy and almost collapses. More monsters arrive. Things are getting worse. He tells himself, forget about magic power. Survive first. He keeps using his skill despite the danger. Some monsters resist and escape, and Memori is pushed to his absolute limit. He refuses to give up and prepares for one last attack. And then, he levels up. His magic power is restored. Overjoyed, he casts paralysis again and saves himself. He realizes he gained a ton of EXP from that strong monster. He gets excited. He can fight again. His skill, status elements, levels up to level 2. Now, he can target multiple enemies at once. He paralyzes and poisons several monsters. His powers are now truly effective. His stats are rising. He keeps leveling up. Even his sleep skill reaches level 2. Filled with confidence, Memori believes he can defeat any monster now. As he prepares for the next battle, he notices something strange. The monsters are running away. They're afraid of him now. He finds some clothes from a dead body and puts them on. Now he needs food and water. He searches everywhere but finds nothing. Desperate, he decides to eat the monster he just defeated. But the monster's skin is too tough. So he tries removing its eye and eating that instead. The taste is absolutely disgusting. He chews it and immediately throws up. Memori suspects that the monster's body might be filled with poison. Things have taken a darker turn, and he now realizes this place was truly designed to end lives. Starving and desperate, he notices the light on his backpack has changed color, and it feels heavier than before. Curious, he opens it and finds soda and jerky inside. Overjoyed, he begins eating without understanding how the bag works or whether it will ever provide food again. But for now, he's just thankful. Soon after, Memori defeats a massive army of monsters. They're all paralyzed, and he waits patiently for the poison to take full effect. Sitting atop a giant dragon, he watches as the creatures begin to fall, knowing it'll all be over in just a few seconds. As they collapse, he levels up once more, so much that he gets emotional and begins to cry. Memories of his childhood flood back. The dream of revenge, the belief that he would one day have to kill his own father before his father could kill him. But fate intervened. His aunt and uncle adopted him and showed him what love felt like. They taught him kindness and empathy. He once believed he had become like them, but now, standing among the fallen, he feels nothing. No fear, no sorrow. He accepts his new self and lets go of who he used to be. He effortlessly defeats a powerful eye monster and uses a gem to channel magic into a mysterious door, which creaks open. Inside, he finds 2 lifeless bodies. Shocked, he notices the gems lying near them and wonders if he might need them when he returns. Whispering an apology, he takes the gems and continues his exploration. After inspecting hundreds of rooms, Memori enters one that draws significantly more magical energy than the rest. Inside, he discovers another corpse, this one with a letter. The man's name was Anglin, once known as the Hero of Darkness. Memori recalls the goddess calling Anglin the strongest hero of them all. According to the letter, the goddess forcibly teleported Anglin to this place, claiming she no longer needed him. She left him to die in this prison. Before succumbing, Anglin left something behind, for anyone brave enough to find it. Enraged, Memori curses the goddess. She claimed the Demon Empire was evil, but she's even worse. And perhaps he's not much different either. He doesn't care about saving the world. He just wants revenge. Memori finds a book left by the Dark Hero, filled with recipes for magical items and weapons. Among them, he discovers a scroll containing forbidden magic, but the language is unreadable. If he could decode it, it might just become a game changer in his battle against the goddess. Then he freezes. One page holds a chilling warning about the Soul Eater, the very creature responsible for all the death in this place. Pushing forward, he eventually finds a door. But this one won't open without a specific mechanism. He suspects it might be the exit, and also realizes the Soul Eater is likely nearby. This creature is so dangerous that even the mightiest heroes couldn't defeat it. Despite everything, Memori believes he's now leveled up enough to defeat the creature. He discovers a strange face embedded in a wall and suspects the orb lodged in its forehead might be the key to unlocking the final door. But this isn't just any face, it belongs to the Soul Eater. The moment Memori makes the slightest movement, it opens fire. The Soul Eater wastes no time. It needs the orb, and Memori must risk everything to claim it. To activate his status-enhancing skill, Memori must shout aloud, but before he can, the Soul Eater shifts. It's a monster so powerful, even the strongest hero couldn't survive against it. In that moment, Memori realizes this is a battle between life and death. Suddenly, the Soul Eater begins to vomit. What emerges horrifies Memori. It's not just bile, it's the mangled, suffering forms of the monster's previous victims. Their twisted appearances still resemble humans. Memori hesitates. He can't bring himself to paralyze or poison them. They look too human. He yells at the Soul Eater, telling it that souls aren't toys. He refuses to poison those monsters because deep down, he still sees himself as human. The Soul Eater grows more amused by Memori's suffering. It tortures him with glee and begins creating even more monsters. Terrified, Memori shouts for the creatures to stay back. But the Soul Eater just laughs maniacally, drunk on the pleasure of watching him break. Then everything changes. Memori's expression hardens. In a sudden move, he paralyzes the Soul Eater. He reveals this has always been its greatest weakness. He explains that he intentionally showed hesitation, knowing the Soul Eater would indulge in its sadistic pleasures long enough to get careless. It never even noticed that Memori's left hand had remained raised the entire time. Its arrogance was its downfall, and Memori capitalized on it. He defeats the monster. His paralyzed skill hits a new peak, level 10. Gasping, Memori says he did everything he could just to survive. This wasn't luck, it was will. He accepts that he's no longer the boy he used to be. He once tried so hard to appear harmless, to be kind, to bury who he really was. He fooled even himself. But no longer. With renewed resolve, he poisons all the soul monsters, coldly stating he feels nothing for them. They were just puppets created by the Soul Eater. As the Soul Eater screams in pain, Memori feels a surge of pride. He defeated this terrifying beast at his weakest, a human thrown into a dungeon to die. He mocks the monster for losing to someone so broken, so fragile. When the Soul Eater tries to crawl away, Memori notices something important. The paralyzed skill inflicts even more damage the moment the target tries to move. The monster's fate is sealed. At last, Memori poisons the Soul Eater, and his poison skill reaches level 3. With one final spell, he ends the battle, casting sleep and bringing silence to the chaos. As the creature collapses, the souls it had tormented begin to rise. They surround Memori, their forms glowing faintly, and thank him. They tell him they've been watching him all along, and they believe he'll use their gems wisely. Among them stands the Dark Hero, his presence still strong despite death. He looks at Memori and urges him to take revenge on the goddess, the one who cast them all aside like tools. Memori nods, silently fueled by purpose. He takes the Soul Eater's orb and places it into the exit door's mechanism. With a low hum, the door unlocks. Light pours in from the other side. Without looking back, Memori steps forward, leaving the dungeon and his old self behind.